Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalieresiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
Well, it was a snowy afternoon here in downtown North Bay, but everybody made it out, it seems, as for the final time of the 2024-2025 Great North U18 League season. There will be hockey here for the North Bay U18 Trappers at the newly christened Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens, as the league-leading Trappers, who have 14 points on second place Timmins, play the depleted and hoping to come away with a big victory here, new Liskeard Cubs. 2 games left on the season for these teams, and the final home game here in Memorial Gardens, though technically the U16 team will be playing the U18 Trappers next week in Verner, but the last time they'll play here in North Bay, and then the season ends on the 28th as these two teams clash in New Liskeard. As you are watching the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's, there will be a little bit of a ceremony here at the beginning of the game just to talk about some of the players who are going to be graduating on after this season. I am Ben Sargent, alongside with me Dr. Rob Graham. And Rob, just before we get going, again, a huge start for or a huge season so far for the Trappers. What do you think is going to be the key in this game?
Well, I think the key in this game is keeping motivation up, and you know the Trappers have already clinched first place, and they're playing a team that's kind of at the bottom of the standing. So this is a really important game for the Trappers to make sure that they can continue their winning ways in spite of already seizing first place. And the other big story here today, Ben, is Benny Brunton, who could potentially today hit 50 goals on the season. So we're on the Benny Brunton watch.
And we'll talk a little bit more. A couple of Trapper players got to play in the NOJHL. We'll talk about that a little bit more as this game goes on. But first, we are going to take you down to ice level so that we can take a look at this pregame ceremony for the Trappers.
Number 8, Cohen Paquette. Number 11, President Sergei Hutchinson. Number 96, Noah Cosmic. Number 98, Tyler Burnett. Number 93, Owen Head. And your captain, number 76, Jackson Cullen. Please rise if able and remove your hats for the playing of O Canada.
As we are getting set here in North Bay to start the third final game of the regular season for both these teams here. Again, they'll be facing each other off on the 28th in just a couple of weeks to finish off the season in New Liskeard. As kind of interesting when we get into the goalie situation a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit later, Rob. But starting in at for New Liskeard is number 30, Matt Leach. And in net, as we wait to see who head coach Josh Dale will go with for North Bay, it looks like that is going to be Logan Coates. In net, it's going to be an interesting matchup, I think, between the pipes here. When you look at the high-scoring ability of the Trappers, that might be a big key for New Liskeard here tonight.
Well, most certainly. When you take a look at the scoring, and you just take a look at the top 20, North Bay has, 4 or 5 guys in the top 20 scoring, led by Benny Brunton and Marty Broussard with 57 points, Cam Lockhart with 38, Liam Starchevich with 38, Owen Head's up there You take a look at the new Liskeard Cubs, and I don't believe they have one player in the top 20. So it's going to be a tall task for the Cubs. You know, they've been working with a short bench here, and hats off to the coaching staff and the players. They're going to have to put a really solid effort forward here today if they're going to come out on top.
The puck's dropped. We are set. North Bay in their home whites with the blue accents. New Liskeard in their visiting, North Bay in their home reds. New Liskeard in their white with yellow and black trim, as New Liskeard coming away with a bit of possession here early on, but Tyler Burnett will bring it up for North Bay as he dumps it into the zone, and then he regains it, puts it out in front, nobody there to pick up the empty puck right there in the slot area as the puck comes back into the Trappers' zone. Lots of interesting storylines that we can talk about here this afternoon as well. North Bay comes in 5-1 in their last 6 since the last time they were here in the Gardens for a big 2-game tilt against Kapuskasing, where they won both those games handedly, as Leach will hang on to that shot attempt from the blue line for a face-off. And it's been a pretty easy road so far for North Bay. Of course, their only loss coming at the hands of the U16 Sioux Greyhounds.
Well, they have faced some adversity at times this year, and it's one of the things Coach Josh Dale is really hoping he can work on with this team. Sometimes when they have faced adversity, they haven't always been up to the challenge in the manner that Coach Josh Dale would like them to be. So right now, everything this team is doing is working towards that playoff run. Coach Josh Dale is going to be demanding composure and good system play here today.
Well, there's an early opportunity, and the shot not a good rebound given by Leach as he hangs on for that face-off. Of course, on the other side, you've got New Liskeard, who in that same time frame only have one victory, as it's been a tough season for them so far. We talked about the Trappers, 51 points in 29 games. Absolutely ridiculous. Only 4 defeats this season, one of those in overtime. New Liskeard, on the other hand, 21 points in 28 games. So it's been a quite different season for both these teams, as Bahari there from the point. His shot is an easy blocker save for Leach. We'll talk about their goaltending situation at our next whistle, but there's an opportunity in front. It's cleared away nicely there by the Cubs. And now the puck comes in, but it's blocked, and New Liskeard will look to break out and get their first offensive opportunity as Brownlee sends it up the boards there onto the stick of Arpin Gerard, but he wasn't able to hold on, and now the Trappers have possession again. Bahari gave a bad giveaway in his own zone. Puck comes out in front, but he's able to get the puck back, and now they break up. Here's Brassard. Brassard, and way offside was Brunton there as he couldn't hold on. And speaking of that line, the Brassard, Lockhart's out there now, but Brassard, Brunton, and Head all faced off against each other when Head and Brunton got called up a couple of weeks ago to the Voodoos, and Brassard was playing for the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners.
Yeah, and just a great opportunity for those players. And I'm a big fan of our Voodoos, Powassan Voodoos. They give a lot of our Trappers outstanding opportunities to see and feel what it's like to play at the junior A level, and it was a great experience for all those players, actually.
I was there calling the game. I saw you at the game, actually. I saw you passing by. didn't say hi to me, though, so...
Oh, I did not see you, but you do know that our good friend Chris Dawson got his 400th win as a GM.
He did. That was it was a much tighter game than I think they were expecting.
Yes, and I was there to celebrate with my dear friend because he's done a great job over the years locally and with the Voodoos in terms of mentoring young hockey players.
Absolutely. Puck in the Trappers zone. Cubs really struggling here to get anything really offensively going in the first 3 minutes of this hockey game. And there is a little bit of a sluggishness between both these teams as there's a big hit there from LaSalle as the Trappers dump it in. Leach has behind his own net. He leaves it, but right for a Trappers player. And not able to do anything with that, unfortunately, for North Bay. They were almost given a great opportunity. That puck from Hay goes off Sagan Hutchinson. Cubs now having a good spot. Here's a good opportunity, and just off the stick there of Cloutier, as he had almost the first best opportunity for New Liskeard, as Coates is yet to be tested. Of course, we don't have a shot counter, so we're not able to see exactly what the shots were, but Coates still has not seen a puck so far. Puck at neutral, in the neutral zone. Now back in the Cubs zone. And that one comes up not enough for icing as Cloutier got his stick on it, and Coates will come out to play behind his own net. Moore sends it over for Cullen. We, of course, lots of graduating players. Jackson Cullen, the captain, one of those. Many big names got a shutout in the pregame ceremony.
And some big shoes to fill there next year, of course, with our graduating players, and a nice touch by the Trappers just to honor those players that are moving on. So there'll be some big opportunity for some players next year.
And you got to obviously look at the U16 team, as it is a great way to feed into this U18 team. Of course, playing in the same league. Trappers in the near zone have the puck. Cosmic tries to dance around his man, but lost possession. Upcoming New Liskeard, Brownlee loses possession on a nice little poke check there from Bahare. Puck back in the New Liskeard zone. And now in front, there's a good chance for Burnett. Couldn't pull the trigger, as he gets a good little poke check there in the slot area from the Cubs defense. And again, all these passes so far from New Liskeard just going behind their own players, and they're not able to get the possession that they'd like to get. Now here's a chance at the side of the net. Cosmic fans on it, as he's getting harassed there from Arpin Gerard. And now the puck pinned behind. Now a chance in front slot. Nice little pass there. Good shot, good save from Leach. Another shot from Cosmic, and Leach gets over to make the big save with about 5:10 gone in this opening frame. And so far, a kind of a lethargic start here for the Cubs, and a pretty good start here for the Trappers.
Well, let me tell you a little backside story on the Trappers. They played last Wednesday and got the win 4-3 in Sudbury, but they played 2 exhibition games against the U16 NOHA team Friday and Saturday, and then they're playing here. And Coach Josh Dale actually purposefully put that heavy schedule together for the team, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute.
As Hill gets a chance, first shot on Coates. Coates makes a nice save. That was after a nice save from Leach on the other side earlier in that play. Now here's a good chance. Another chance shot, and good save from Coates. Scramble in front of the net, and the puck ends up going into the corner, and New Liskeard has control. That was Olsen who picked it up. Hill had a great chance there for New Liskeard. Puck comes loose again, and now it's going to be the linesman who's going to call that for a hand pass, as he came in over from the Trappers bench on the other side of the ice.
So I'll follow up on that. Yeah, so the Trappers have played 2 games, Friday and Saturday, exhibition games, and then last Wednesday. And the thinking with Coach Josh Dale is he kind of wanted to push them into that playoff mentality where they may be forced to play a number of games in a short period of time. And he wanted to see how they could handle and adapt to that type of a challenge. So that's why today is an important game in terms of Coach Josh Dale from what he sees from his players.
Well, we talked about the Trappers dominating the league, 14 points up on the next best team, 51 points in 29 games. And yet it doesn't matter if you don't do anything in the playoffs, which is now a kind of one-and-done tournament style. Starcevic brings it into the Cubs zone, and the Cubs fail to clear. Trappers regain possession. Lassell will dump it in. Lassell now has it at the side of the net. His shot stopped by Leach. Puck comes loose, and all the Cubs can do is try to clear it. It's going to go down and not have enough for icing, as the Cubs get a much-needed change. So as you mentioned, that what Josh Dale's trying to do for his Trappers team is get them used to that workload that they could potentially be doing. Because again, it doesn't matter how good you do in the regular season, if you can't finish it off when you need to. The pass that was intended there for Cloutier was outside of his reach and goes down for icing against New Liskeard.
Yeah, 100%. You know, you can have the best season and blow everybody out of the water, but really it comes down to, you know, clinching that title for sure and making it to the playoffs. But then this team is not done yet. They still have a lot to prove, and I think you're going to see that today, that they're going to try to remain composed and keep that playoff mentality right here today.
So New Liskeard breaks out. It's a dump in there from Renault. And they still have possession. Sears shot from the point. He hits a man and goes wide. Bahari just overskates it, but he picks it up, and then he's able to bump it out. Keep an eye on number 9 there for New Liskeard, the leading point scorer for the Cubs. Of course, also where's the C for New Liskeard, as that one's going to be offside, as Cloutier was on the wrong side of the blue ice.
One of the challenges also, Ben, speaking with Coach Josh right before the game is there's a bit of a 2-week gap between the end of the season and the playoffs, and that's always a bit of a problem in terms of keeping that competitive spirit and conditioning up. So looking at having a game plan for that 2 weeks is going to be important.
Right off the face-off, Tyler Burnett with a weak shot as he gains the zone. Easy save from Leach. We'll have to talk a little bit about New Liskeard's goaltending situation as well. It's an odd thing. We talked about this pregame, the weirdest thing you've ever seen. We'll talk about that at the next stoppage of play, barring any sort of goal or penalty. As Webster picks it up from the blue line, as it was unable to be cleared there from the Trappers. Now the shot goes into the slot area, hits a couple of bodies, and out on a rush is the Trappers. Here's a chance shot. It's deflected wide. Puck back out in front, but no red sweaters there to pick it up. Liskeard trying to get it out, and they just get it past Proctor, and then it's dumped back in by Burnett. The last time we were here as well, it was a big comeback victory against Kapuskasing. As now a chance, there's a weird bounce. Breton shot right into the body of Leach. Trappers were down 5-3 going into the third, ended up scoring 7 goals to win 11-5. And now another shot stopped by Leach, no rebound. And perfect time to talk about this goaltending situation here for New Liskeard, as we see Leach starting in net. It was actually supposed to be Cooper Peaver, who's on the bench, but he's not wearing any equipment, Rob.
Well, so I got a little inside scoop on that story, but I know over my years of playing goal, I don't think I ever forgot my goal pads, but it would seem that Cooper has forgot his pads, and what they're going to do is, in the event he does have to play, they would have to switch pads with Leach. So interesting. I told you the story of once playing a game having forgot my jock. So I was able to play that game, but I don't think I could play without my pads.
That feels like a very important part, as the puck was dumped in and then it goes off the backboards. Leach ends up holding on. You would think that they're the biggest, and it's not even a small piece of equipment. It's the largest pieces of equipment. Now, who knows what happened? Maybe somebody else was supposed to pack it, etc. But that's got to be one of the more embarrassing stories.
Yeah, and I'll have another follow-up story to that at the next whistle.
I don't know if it could ever beat your jock story, though. That's that's pretty bad. New Liskeard gaining the Trappers zone, but a good defensive play by Cullen stops the momentum. And another good steal there. And now here's an opportunity and a great stick there from Sagan Hutchinson. What a chance there for Maverick Hill, as it was a great steal in the neutral zone. And now Brunton the other way. Brunton puts it out in front, misses his man, but now Sagan Hutchinson over for Lockhart in the shot. Good save there from Leach, and now Lockhart a little too aggressively into the boards. He's going to get a penalty as he hit Ethan Roy, and he's going to go off to the box. We'll have to see what the official ruling is, but it did look like Roy was not facing, it's going to be a cross-check, as he was in a bit of a vulnerable spot there.
Well, and that's Cam Lockhart. He's a power forward. He gets those penalties, and it comes with Cam's game. I don't think you're ever going to take that kind of abrasive play out of Cam, and that's what you get: power forward and power plays.
So it'll be the first opportunity here for the Cubs to try to open the scoring. We are halfway through the opening frame, no goals. Surprisingly, though, good opportunities on both sides, as the Cubs have had a couple of nice steals in the defensive zones, in the neutral zones, and gotten a couple of shots on Logan Coates. And now here's an opportunity for Roy. Roy sends it over to Miller. Miller across the ice, but the shot goes wide. Miller picks it up at his own blue line, at the Trappers' blue line, I should say. Puck on the near side, left for Roy. Roy's trying to find a place where he can pass it as they try to cycle the puck around the zone. That was Renault. Roy, near side for Renault, still looking to get across ice. Now the way to the point. Shot comes in, and it goes off a stick and out of play, but some pretty good cycling there from the Cubs, but really we're looking for that cross-ice pass. It just wasn't happening.
Yeah, some good puck possession there, and nice to see Ethan Roy out there battling and grinding. He's a player that I've done some work with. Great kid. Really enjoyed spending some time with him virtually, having some sessions, and some good puck possession there. Just weren't able to generate any solid chances from it, though.
And they say all you know is goaltending.
Yeah, well, no comment.
Clearly not, though, as you've helped some of the position players as well. As Hill has it as his own blue line, and Liskeard trying to come in, but Roy was a little bit too.
Well, and Ben, the work I do outside of that is on I call it the hockey life skills part of the game, and basically taking my experiences as a hockey player, putting them in the blender, mixing them with some of my research on resiliency and 23 years as a goaltending coach, and giving everything that nobody ever told me. And I really, really hope to try to elevate the experience for these young athletes. And the main message that I try to bring to these young athletes is chase the experience and not the dream. And when you can get young athletes focused on enjoying the process and embracing the process of getting better and not being so consumed with the dream of the OHL or even the NHL, good things are going to happen. I'll never promise my athletes I'm going to get them to the OHL or the NHL, but I will promise them they'll enjoy playing the game more. And I think for me, that's a really important message.
I thought the most important message would be don't forget your jock.
That too. And goal pads if you're a goalie.
And goal pads. As there's 10 seconds left on Lockhart's penalty. A couple opportunities there. Culbert had a nice one earlier, but Leach made the save. So the Cubs only really had that one possession in the first half of that penalty. Nothing else really happening. As now with 8:17 to go in the opening frame, still looking for our first goal. Sagan Hutchinson, his pass over to Cullen was a little too aggressive, but the pass, and now Cullen's pass out front is picked off by Sear. Sear tries to get it into the zone, but he also gets a stick in front of it. Cosmic trying to go around, and the puck just ends up going clear for Leach. I didn't hear a whistle there, but I guess must have been blown as...
I think in talking with Coach Josh, too, one of the things that I believe is when legs get tired, minds get tired. And so pushing the team to, just play through this tiredness and still have to make good decisions is really important for them to learn how to deal with, I think, especially come playoff time.
Yeah, as Proctor takes a pretty big hit behind his own net as he gets laid out a little bit there by Roy. Or check that was Ethier with the hit. This is Roy now as he sets it up. The one thing about these new Liskeard jerseys, it's really hard to see the numbers on their on their shoulders as they get really close. Here's Owen Head, tries to dance around Jack Sear, but Sear does a good job taking out the body and breaks up that shot attempt. Sear now with it. He gets it into the Trappers zone. There's a shot, goes wide.
And that didn't miss by much.
No, it did not, but it looked like Coates would have had that covered if it did end up reaching its target, as the puck ends up hitting up the meshing on the far corner.
And I have to put my bias out there. Logie Coates, we've got Benny Brunton leading the league, but we've also got Logie Coates with a very respectable 2.12 goals against average, and he's leading the leagues in the goaltending stats, and he's followed very closely by his goaltending partner, Carson Ruddy.
Well, it all starts from the top. Now here's an opportunity. Shot just goes wide from New Liskeard. Here's Hay. His shot's blocked off by Brunton. Trying to go back to the point, but it's intercepted, and now the puck ends up taking a weird bounce going all the way down to Coates, who will hold on. And I feel like one of those things, too, when you look at goaltending, it's hard to look at stats sometimes, because even when you look at how well Coates and Ruddy have done, you also have to think about they don't get a whole lot of work either necessarily with how much possession and offense the Trappers generate.
Yes and no. I would have to argue against that, because there have been many times this year that even though the shot clock might be around 20, some of the saves, the timely saves they made, and like really kind of like 5-star saves at timely moments have been incredible. So it all starts with good goaltending at any level. I've been really impressed here with Matt Leach too. He's doing a great job of keeping this game where it is right now.
Well, when we did that Kapuskasing game, it was Kusis who was in net, and despite giving up 11 goals, he was Kapuskasing's
100%
player of the game, as he really did really well. 6:18 left to go in the opening frame. Face-off won by Starcevic. Sagan Hutchinson has it for the Trappers, and there's a shot from the point, and the puck was underneath the 5-hole of Leach, as he wasn't even sure where it went.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, let's look at the Team Canada game there the other day where Billington maybe didn't have the greatest first couple of periods, but in OT got the job done. So sometimes it's not the number of saves, it's the quality of saves at that right time to preserve the momentum, and that's something that Carson and Logan have done repeatedly this year.
Now opportunity for New Liskeard. There's a shot from on the rush off the stick of Maverick Hill, but it goes wide. And then a big hit by Wabi DeLorme in the corner on Sagan Hutchinson, and it ends up getting cleared and all the way down for icing despite the protests from North Bay.
Yeah, and right now, North Bay, you made a good point, Ben. Maybe not as much energy as you might expect, but maybe Coach Josh Dale, again, the wisdom here is how do you push through that, having played so many games in such a short period of time? Because, if you have any chance of going forward and beyond, you're going to have to do that. So pushing through pain, pushing through adversity.
Well, Siegel ends up saving the icing. Now the shot misses. Starcevic, his shot, and they score! It looked like it was tipped in. We'll have to wait to see who officially got the goal, but it looks like it's going to be Colton Lascelles who's going to get it for the tip off a good shot from Starcevic.
Yep, good shot, and on the ice, head up, and whether he was putting that there for Colton to tip, we don't know, but the fact of the matter, it was a good shot selection, and anytime you put something on the ice where there could possibly be a tip or a rebound, good job.
So that opens the scoring about 14 and a half minutes into the opening period. It's 1-0 North Bay as right off the resume of play, it goes all the way down to the North Bay zone, and Coates has to hold on following a bit of pressure here from New Liskeard, who are going to look to tie things up between now and the end of the first period. Not much either that Leach could have done on that one, as just tipped past his outstretched pad. Now there's a shot that ends up getting tipped in the slot area going wide. So Lascelles officially gets out. That one comes off of the shoulder of Coates. It looked like it almost had a chance to go in as it went off the stick there of Arpin Gerard.
Yeah, that was a kind of a weird play, and pad boy Logie Coates was able to kind of elevate that shoulder, or kind of reach for the peanut butter on the top shelf, we call it there, to take that away.
Or the cookies in the cookie jar.
You could say that too.
Bahari with it behind his own net. Bahari falls down, and he ends up getting the puck up to his forwards. There's a delayed call now on that trip. And we'll see who the offending player was.
Ben, I recently received a tip from Randy Edmonds, who is basically an NHL agent. And I wasn't surprised by this, but in the NHL this year, 24-25, I think it was 65% or more of all goals are scored with screens and tips. That's not too surprising. That's how we beat goaltenders today.
Yeah, and if you think it's how bad it is, you got to kind of see it from their point of view with how hard it is to save, as it's Ethan Ethier who gets the penalty on the Bahari trip. So the first opportunity here for the Trappers on the power play, looking for that cross-ice play. New Liskeard had one, but they couldn't get anything out of it. And now New Liskeard just trying to clear the zone, and they finally do.
The other way you score on goalies today, too, and that's even at the U18 AAA level, because most goalies have had so much training and are very competent, is you try to get them moving laterally, and that's what we'll look for in these power plays. You'll watch for these kind of lateral passes to try to open the goalies up.
Well, there's the leading point scorer, Ben Brunton, as he gets into the New Liskeard zone. Puck at the hash marks, and the pass in from Lockhart, who, when we last saw this team, Lockhart was suspended. Now he's back in play. Here's the captain, Jackson Cullen. He's going to bring it all the way around the net in front, looking for a man for a red shirt, but nobody was there. It was almost a good opportunity from Siegel. Siegel now has it near the blue line. He sends it into the far corner. Now Brunton tries to get it out in front, no one there. But now another opportunity he has. Not able to pull the trigger on it was Brassard. Now there's a shot that goes wide from the captain. Puck gets cycled back to the blue line, Cullen. And now there's going to be a whistle as it might have went out of play. Oh, no, there's going to be a penalty on the play.
I didn't exactly see what that was, but it looks like a cross-check.
To Lockhart. So a second cross-checking penalty will negate the last 23 seconds of Ethier's penalty.
I've talked with some coaches about that, and Cam's a bigger player, and sometimes playing against smaller-sized players, you know, that stick just by his size comes up, and, you know, I've had that discussion a few times with different coaches about that sometimes with Cam, it's just by his physical size and where he holds that stick, so.
Yeah, and I guess that just comes down to how you hold your stick and where it comes, but, yeah, that'll be 4 minutes of penalties for Lockhart in this game, and also kills all the momentum for the Trappers to potentially go up 2-0 before the end of the period. But they'll break away, and they'll try to do it short-handed as Brunette comes up. Ethier back on the ice, and the puck behind New Liskeard's zone as they break out. 3 minutes left in the period, minute 26 on the power play they'll have. They're 0 for 1. Trappers also 0 for 1 now. Olsen keeps it in. Olsen still has it. Then he loses it, and finally just able to get it out was Buckman. A couple of New Liskeard players colliding in the neutral zone. And North Bay has it. They'll send it all the way down, but not quite all the way, as it was a good stick from Hay. But now it's stolen. Here's Buckman. Buckman trying to dance around his player, was not able to do that, and up comes Hill. Hill runs into a wall of red. Now in the far corner with it is Roy. Roy loses it, and Miller trying to keep it in. Puck goes to the blue line. Major sends it over for Hill. Hill shot stopped by Coates, and then Coates flicks it into the corner, but Hill receives it. Here's Miller looking for the cross ice. He connects to the other Miller. Liam Major now has it at the hash marks. He's got two Trapper players on him. Now Coates is going to play. It goes right off the referee. Major picks it up. Now in front, there's a chance, and Hill's shot is off the stick of Buckman and wide. Now it's finally cleared out, and the Trappers are able to change.
Good job of New Liskeard here. I like their compete level. They're down 1-0, but they've got a little bit of jump in their skates right now, and some good possession there on that power play.
Lockhart's penalty officially over. He's back on the ice. Minute 15 left to go in the period. Lockhart with it, looking to break out. Here's Siegel. Siegel makes a nice move. He still has it. Still with it, and he scores! What a goal! Off the stick of Scott Siegel as he dances through about 3 or 4 different Cubs players, puts it in the back of the net, and with a minute 6 left in the opening frame, makes it 2-0 North Bay.
Scotty Siegel, I was just about to say how I liked how the New Liskeard defense were kind of stepping up and closing gaps, and Scotty broke some ankles on that one. And, you know, I think that's been one of the benefits of the Trappers this year, is that looking down the line, you know, there's a lot of guys who've been finishing this year and have some great offensive touch. And I know Scotty Siegel, when I'm out there Thursday mornings with the goalies, he's out there and he's spending 5 to 10 minutes working on his shot. And so it might look like this type of stuff comes easy for these boys, but I can attest to the fact that a lot of these kids, they work really hard on their craft.
Well, and it all starts with Lockhart stealing that puck in the defensive zone, as that goes off the stick of Moore, a shot from Sear, and goes into the netting behind Coates. And so it all starts with Lockhart, who comes off the penalty box. He steals into the defensive zone, and then he activates Siegel, who's able to dance, as we said, through about 3 different Cubs players, and then around the outstretched pad of Leach. Not much that it seemed like New Liskeard could do with that. Almost Connor McDavid-esque with the way that he plays for Edmonton, as the puck is dumped into the zone from Bahari, and then Leach is able to hold on for a whistle with 45 seconds on the clock.
You know, it's interesting this year, and I'll always give kudos to Coach Josh and the coaching staff this year, because there's a real chemistry amongst the players, and there's a real kind of connectedness, and I think that comes in believing in yourself and believing in your teammates and believing in the coaching staff, and we've seen it this year.
Proctor has it, sends it over to Bahare. Bahari still with it. He dances in. His shot is stopped by Leach. A good blocker save. As now New Liskeard is just trying to stop the onslaught to go down only 2 into the second period. Both teams fighting for it in the near corner. A collection of white and red jerseys finally comes loose with the Cubs having possession. But the puck has just been dancing around the sticks of the Cubs players as they're not able to cleanly connect some of their passes. 5 seconds left. Now the puck loose in the corner and a big hit. That's going to be a penalty. As a huge hit right near the end by, that was Cameron Olsen. And he's going to go to the box with 2.6 left. And just when you thought that was going to be the end of the period, it'll be the Cubs going down shorthanded to cap off a disappointing and frustrating first 20 minutes.
And I think what Coach Josh Dale will be happy about there was the lack of response from his player on that particular hit. And that's one of the things they're really working on, is that composure and that ability to kind of take the hit, you know, albeit maybe not a great hit, walk away from it and actually take the penalty.
So we'll get a quick face-off here as the penalty dies. There's a shot attempt that's fanned. The buzzer goes. There's a little bit of chippiness here after the whistle. So a charging call to Cameron Olsen with just over 2 seconds left in the period is going to mean the New Liskeard Cubs are going to be shorthanded going into the second period. So 1 period in the books, and it's goals from Colton Lassell, his 9th of the year at the 14:25 mark, and then Scott Siegel, his 12th of the year at the 18:54 mark. That has given the North Bay Trappers a 2-0 lead in their final Memorial Gardens home game of the season. Rob, what have we seen so far through 20 minutes?
Well, I mean, I think you made a good point, Ben, that the Trappers maybe haven't had the leg speed because of the volume of work they've had. But again, that's by design by Coach Josh Dale. And they'll go in and they will re-energize and refocus. We're on the Benny Brunton watch too, and I don't think you're going to keep Benny Brunton off the score sheet, so we'll keep an eye on that. And I guess if the New Liskeard team has any chance of getting home on this one, their goaltender, who's done a great job in the first period, is going to have to really excel in the next 2.
Yeah, Leach, not much he could have done in the opening 2 goals, but it is the Trappers who are going to be happy after 20 minutes. They lead 2-0. We will be back in about 15 minutes or so with the second period. You are watching the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's. We'll be back on the other side of this first period intermission.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1, our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2, Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3, the lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalieresiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency. Welcome to the Clubhouse by Gateway Golf. Located on Oak Street East in North Bay, with over 200 plus real-time courses, simulator arcade games, and delicious eats, the Clubhouse is North Bay's newest social hangout. You can book times now at gatewaygolf.ca or come visit at 245 Oak Street East in North Bay, Ontario. The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalieresiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
Well, we welcome you back to the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens as it's a Sunday afternoon clash between the U18 North Bay Trappers and the new Liskeard Cubs. We're just waiting for the officials to come out so the teams can come back onto the ice. It was a first period that a little lethargic for the Cubs, a little maybe lethargic as well for the Trappers, but at the end of the day, the Trappers picked up 2 goals. Colton Lassell with his 9th of the year at the 14:25 mark, and then Scott Siegel doing his best dance impression there as he goes around about 3 or 4 different Cub players and around Leach, the goaltender, to put in his 12th of the year at the 18:54 mark. I'm Ben Surgeon alongside Dr. Rob Graham. It is the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's. You're watching this, of course, on Flow Hockey and listening to this potentially on the Frontline YouTube channel. The final home game for the Trappers here in Memorial Gardens. They do have one more against the U16 Trappers next week, but that'll be in Verner. So, Rob, after 20 minutes, what did you see? What caught your eye from both these teams?
Well, I think right now everything the Trappers are doing is playoff mode, and what Coach Dale is trying to do right now with his boys, he's going to be preaching composure. He's looking to get these guys in the mental mindset in terms of how to deal within the upcoming number of weeks when they get into playoff mode. So he's going to be demanding some discipline, some composure. He's going to be making sure that they cover their responsibilities in the neutral zone, the offensive zone, and of course the defensive zone. So in terms of New Liskeard, I had a nice chat with some of the parents down there. I always like to go down during the intermission and get the parents' perspective, and you know, they're looking for their boys to continue to compete and work hard throughout the entire game.
Well, 20 minutes in the books, 40 minutes to go as we resume play here in Memorial Gardens. Trappers have possession. Of course, they start on the power play with Cameron Olsen in the box for a charging call at the tail end of that first period. It's the Trappers with possession. Cosmic at the blue line. He decides to take a shot, and it hits off a stick. Looks like that was Maverick Hill, and it goes behind the net, and it's picked back up by the Trappers. As the Trappers try to get in front, Sagan Hutchinson just can't pull the trigger as it came off his stick a little too aggressively. And now another opportunity, that one right off the post. What a good chance then from Burnett. And then another shot from Sagan Hutchinson. Goes high and wide and all the way out of the zone. So still a minute to go on the power play. Trappers coming 0 for 1 in that first period. On the other side, though, New Liskeard had 2 opportunities. Cameron Lockhart found himself in the penalty box. 2 cross-checking calls as the Trappers look to cycle and get the puck up into the Cubs zone with about 35 seconds left to go. Here's Burnett. He goes all the way through, and he scores! And we were on the Brunton watch train, and he finally gets his goal as he dances around, and very similar to the Scott Siegel goal that we saw back in the first period. It's now 3-0 on a power play goal from Ben Brunton.
That's number 49 for Benny Brunton, and we're on the 50 watch. But, you know, the one thing I know with Benny, you'll notice the muted celebration there. And I was in a recent team meeting, and, you know, the message from the coaching staff is always respect your opponent. And that's one thing that I know Benny Brunton, obviously as a point leader and as a leader on this team, you know, respecting the opponent is something that's really important to the Trappers organization this year.
Trappers power play goal.
So a big goal. And of course, Brunton did play in that Voodoo's game against the Gold Miners, where you could, as it goes down for icing, you could say when he played on the line with Owen Head in that first period and Justin Russo, the Voodoo's veteran and one of the top point scorers for that team. And I was the color analyst on that game, and honestly, I would say in that first period, that line was probably the best line that head coach Peter Goulet had.
Well, I'm going to put it out there that I unequivocally 100% guarantee that the Powassan Voodoos would probably fully embrace having Benny Brunton on their team next year.
Yeah, if he's not playing in the OHL, of course.
That is correct.
We've talked about that when they were last year in the Gardens on the 12th and 11th of January against Kapuskasing. With the 18 draft coming up this year, Brunton was, of course, left off the draft sheet when he was first available to, but he's shown that might have been a mistake, as Trappers looking to get more here. 2.5 minutes in the second period. Here's Buckman, looks for a good pass. There's a chance, Lockhart, and he fans twice on the shot. He was all alone in front of Leach, and he's going to be kicking himself there. Of course, Lockhart did make a nice little steal and play that led to the Seagull goal back in the first, but would have loved to put one in the net and maybe buy some goodwill back after the two penalties that he took earlier in this game. Proctor in his own zone. Proctor loses possession as New Liskeard was looking for a good opportunity, but Wabi Delorme was not able to get a shot off. Now Logan Coates coming out of his own net to play it. He'll wrap it around the boards for Colton Lascelles, who got the opening goal for the Trappers, and that's going to go all the way out for icing.
And, you know, again, I'll make that point again, Ben, that this year the Trappers have done it by committee. You know, you can't win and have the winning season that this team has had, you know, with just one guy or two guys. You know, it's been by committee, you know, with leader Jackson Cullen on the back end and Mikey Deck as a veteran D, you know, and then, of course, again, I'm biased, but strong goaltending, league-leading goaltending. That's how you get the job done.
Well, big collision in the Trappers zone. And here's a chance now. Hill sends it out in front, and chest fanning on it again was Wabi Delorme, as he's had two good opportunities and was not able to connect on either one of them. As New Liskeard looking a little dangerous here in this second period. It was Ben Brunton who did open the scoring here in the second frame, and now another opportunity here for the Trappers. Here's a chance, a shot, and it ends up going wide as looking to potentially connect, and now another opportunity as there's Starcevic, and he's not able to quite get his stick on it and get a shot off. And now the Cubs bring it out. There's Hay, and he sends it into the zone. Trappers regain possession. Cullen sends it up for Lascelles. And that's stolen in the neutral zone. A bad pass attempt. And Seyu will just send it into North Bay zone. North Bay leading the charge again. Lascelles sends it in, and Leach will come back to play it and wraps it around, but right at the blue line was Cullen, who keeps the puck in New Liskeard's zone. Trying to dance around was Matthias Moore, but he was stopped up behind the net. And now both teams just trying to find a foothold in the offensive zone, but it's been a lot of back and forth in the last minute or so of game time. Pass up front from Moore. He's got a couple of players with him. He's got Paquette and Colbert. Moore brings it into the sideboards. His shot, and it goes off the side of the net, but the net is knocked off its moorings, and it'll be a whistle.
Yeah, Mateus is a player this year that's made some good strides. He's kind of like that energizer buddy guy. He's going to go out there and play 110%, and he's going to bring some energy. And, you know, one of the players that, you know, sometimes we talk about all the big scorers and that, but again, there's players all the way down the line that have kind of bought into the process that Coach Josh Dale has implemented this year.
Liskeard looking to gain the zone. They'll just wrap it around, and their dump and chase hasn't quite worked, but it works here as they regain possession in North Bay's zone. Ethier dumps it in, and still New Liskeard with it. So they are getting bullied a little bit here by North Bay, and it's going to be Culbert who tries to break out into the neutral zone, but he loses possession, and now it's going in between both teams. And finally, New Liskeard is the one with the puck. Here's Sear. Sear, he loses possession as he just lost the handle on it. And it'll be Miller, the leading point scorer for New Liskeard. 29 points, a good pass to Ethan Ethier, but he blows a tire. And the Cubs just have not had good luck on this ice surface, whether it's bouncing pucks over sticks or losing their footing. Buckman brings it into the Cubs zone. Buckman, he's got a man in front. Buckman tries to go with the sharp angle, but again, that net comes off the mooring, something that we saw a lot a couple of years ago with the battalion with Dom DeVincentis in net. And it looks like the curse continues here this afternoon.
Well, it's a curse, but it can also be strategic if you're a goaltender, Ben. If you know the posts are like that, you can use that to your ability.
Face-off won by North Bay. There's a shot from the point, and now a big bounce, but it's cleared by New Liskeard, and it'll be Michael Deck back in his own zone to get it. His pass jumps over a stick. It looked like it might have hit a Cubs stick, but they'll say it goes down for icing regardless.
It's nice to see my buddy Mikey Deck out there. He didn't know if he was going to be able to play for the rest of the year. He had a fairly serious jaw injury, and it's sure nice to see Mike. We certainly missed him on that back end when he was out, so he's an important part of our defensive core.
And right off the draw, there's a chance. Shot goes wide. New Liskeard has come close to getting their first goal of the game, but they've just been missing. Now Cosmic's going to go and weave through a couple of players. Look at the far side. That was Moore, sends it behind the net. Now puck in front. There's a shot, goes wide. Good chance from Cosmic. Cosmic looking for more. Can't quite get it. Deck, his shot from the point. Big save, big rebound, and what a big save. There from Leach. He makes two huge saves and somehow keeps the puck out of the net. And I don't think Moore can believe it. What a chance for the Trappers. Another shot goes wide as he sprawled and was able to get his glove arm out to make a great save. Now another puck out in front, but it gets blocked. Trappers with possession on the near side in the Cubs zone. There's a puck in front looking for Cosmic. It misses. Deck has it. Deck over for Proctor. Proctor sends it back to Deck. His shot in front now goes wide. Big onslaught for the Trappers as the net goes once again off its moorings. And it's very lucky that New Liskeard finds themselves not down 4-0. What a couple of big saves there from Matt Leach.
Yeah, really nice. Obviously, I'm goaltender biased, but I love it to see goaltenders out there battling and grinding and giving their teams a chance like Leach is. But, we go back to Michael Deck. What a fabulous low shot in a position for a rebound and or a tip. And that's just really great shot selection by Mike from the D-line.
Face-off one. Collins sends it over to Sagan Hutchinson. His shot, and the puck's still loose. And finally cleared out, but not out of the zone as Cullen keeps it in. Brassard looking for that cross-ice pass, and it's intercepted there in the slot area. Now another chance. Shot stopped by Leach. Back to the point, Sagan Hutchinson. His shot, it's blocked. Puck loose in the slot area. And now Cullen takes a crack at it. It goes off a stick and high. One of the things that I'm actually kind of curious, Rob, and we've seen this a little bit, Leach, is it just me or does Leach feel like he's coming out of his net maybe a little bit too much, or do you think that's strategic?
Well, Leach right now, what I would say is he's stopping pucks and he's keeping his team in the game. And if I was his goalie coach on the bench right now, I say keep it growing, buddy, because you're giving your team a chance.
Well, now another shot from a tight angle. It's an easy save from Leach there. Now another chance. Shot goes wide. And it feels like just a matter of time until the Trappers find their 4th goal of the game.
To your point about goaltending, though, like I'll always tell my goalies as a goalie coach is less is more. And the best goalies in the world, they have what I call conservation of movement. So, you know, the less you have to move is really probably better.
Well, Lockhart trying to find his way in the Cubs zone, but he's stopped up by about 3 different New Liskeard players. New Liskeard trying to maybe get a puck onto Logan Coates as they're putting some pressure on the Trappers. Still with the puck was Buckman as he held that for quite a bit. 10:47 left to go here in the second period. Big steal from Buckman in New Liskeard's zone, right in the high slot area. And it's going to go all the way down for icing. And we've seen a little bit of chippiness here. We saw it a little bit at the end of that first period, and we're seeing it a little bit here as well.
Well, and that's what happens, and that's exactly what Coach Josh Dale was thinking when he had the number of games, the volume of play, is because when the legs get tired, the mind gets tired. And, the Trappers, that's something they have to work on. They have to be able to push through the tired legs and the tired minds and still play with composure. And that's been a bit of a, I hate to use the word weakness, but it has been one of the areas that, again, the coaching staff has identified as a need to work on.
Well, Leach will take that dumping attempt and just hold on to it for a whistle. That'll be to his left. And to your point, only 2 games left on the schedule for the Trappers. Next Sunday they'll be playing in Verner against the U16 teams, and then on the 28th they'll be playing in New Liskeard against this Cubs team to finish out the season. And I mean, we were talking about this off air a little bit in between periods. If the Trappers don't win the playoffs or that playoff tournament, it's going to be it's not going to be a good feeling with how much they've dominated this league.
Well, the good news is that the North Bay Trappers have a lot in what I call their confidence bank, and they have a lot to withdraw from that confidence bank. And when we're looking at it from a kind of a sports psychology point of view, basically learning how to deal with winning and pushing past some of the adversity and challenges. Again, that's a really, really important part of the game. But every athlete, in my humble opinion, has a confidence bank. And over the course of a year, you get to make deposits, and then you get to take withdrawals. And I think the coaching staff and the players here, they'll be withdrawing from the confidence they've built over the course of this year, and they'll take that into the playoffs with them.
Well, the face-off in New Liskeard's zone to the right of Leach. It's won by the Cubs, but another bad giveaway in their own zone as Moore is able to pick it up, but it ends up finding itself to the neutral zone, and Michael Deck will just send it into behind the Cubs net. Another clearing attempt. Here's a good chance. Webster, he leaves it off for Hill, and his fingerprints have been all over the offensive game for the Cubs, as little as they've been able to muster, but Hill has been a constant for them. 9 minutes now left to go in the second period. Colbert, he loses the handle a little bit. He gets the puck back. Now, a shot. Leach leaves it in a prime scoring opportunity, but nobody there on the doorstep that could really fire it home. Now another shot from Colbert was stopped by Leach. North Bay still looking for that 4th goal. They've had a lot of opportunities in the last 4 or 5 minutes. And all the Cubs can do is try to get it into North Bay's zone, but that's a good, strong play there from Samuel Brownlee, as he was going to be offside, so he has to check up at the blue line. But other than that, again, New Liskeard still looking for a chance to break the deadlock a little bit. Bringing it into the Cubs zone was Liam Starcevic, who was very close to getting a goal in this period. Now here's Cosmic. Cosmic, his shot, he scores! What a goal! From Noah Cosmic, he goes top shelf over the blocker side of Leach, as Leach is just sitting there being, what more can I do? As Cosmic fires home the wrister and makes it finally 4-0 for North Bay.
Now we have a fabulous vantage point. There's nothing Leach. I didn't even see 1 inch there. I mean, I thought Lynch had good depth management on that. He was outside the blue, but Noah what a heads-up play and what a shot. Just real testament to the offensive prowess all the way down the line on the Trappers this year. How many people have scored here tonight? We have 4 goals and 4 different scorers, right? And and the ability to finish and the calmness, that's really to my eye been something that has really distinguished this team this year, is just that scoring by committee. But I have another point to make on the next whistle too.
Well, to your point, Lascelles, Siegel, Brunton, and now Noah Cosmic, the goal scorers for the Trappers here. His 14th of the year. And we've seen that, of course, Brunton over almost 50 goals, one away from that number, but a number of Trappers also in double digits for goals as well. And now there's a bad giveaway. Here's Owen Head shot, big glove save from Leach, and another bad giveaway. That's probably the worst giveaway we've seen in this game in the high slot area, and maybe Head had a little bit more time to get something going, but a nice save from Leach with the glove.
And Owen Head, not a guy you want to give that puck to, because he also has the ability to put that puck away.
We talked about him playing on a line with Brunton in Powassan back a couple of weeks ago. But what you can see right now, here's Brunton, is the Trappers have really commanded the new Liskeard half of the ice. Lots of turnovers from the Cubs. Brunton still looking for that big number 50. Here's Cameron Lockhart. Lockhart. He's got a man in front. There's a shot, and it just goes wide as Brassard was there looking to put it home. And now the puck comes out into the Trappers zone, and it's picked up by Buckman over to Bahare. Buckman will bring it up. Buckman tries for the cross-ice pass, but it's off the stick of Ethan Ethier. And now the Trappers gain the zone. His shot comes in for Leach, and now Leach initially lets it go, and now he'll hold on for a whistle, and the Trappers will go for a change. 6:43 left in the second frame.
So my point that I wanted to make is, obviously there's a lot of attention on the tremendous offensive prowess of our Trappers this year, but that really starts on the back end, led by Jackson Cullen and Buckman and Mikey Deck and the whole defensive core, including our goaltenders. And, the new Liskeard has not been able to penetrate the zone. Defense have kept the guys outside the dot, making it quite easy for Pad Boy Logie Coates. So a lot of credit for the offense has to go to the defense, and I will take that to my grave.
Well, a couple of good opportunities here, as you were saying that, for the Cubs. Miller's shot initially goes wide. Hill has a shot that's saved by Coates. Hill with it again. He leaves it for Roy. Roy, his shot from the point. It gets tipped, but Coates able to hold on, and the best opportunity for the Cubs here in this second period is they're looking to claw back in any way that they can.
I like what I see from Logie Coates. Hasn't had a high amount of shots or volume of shots, but as we know from a goaltending perspective, staying focused and making that save when you're needed is not easy to do.
Face-off won by the Cubs. Hill still with it, but he loses possession. He wasn't able to pull the trigger. Here's Culbert. Brings it up for the Trappers. Leaves it for Paquette. Paquette, his shot is blocked by Jack Sear. And the Cubs have possession in their own zone. They will bring it the other way. Here's a nice play. Nice little dancing move there from Ethan Roy. He's get around his man, and now here's Hill with it again. Hill leaves it for Roy. Roy, he's got Sear with him as well, but tries to get it down for Hill, and it's picked off. Trappers break out. Culbert gains the zone. Culbert, he's got a couple men with him. Culbert shoots, stopped by Leach, and he'll pick up the rebound in the corner. As the Cubs try to get some momentum to go their way. Good opportunity here from Renew, but he wasn't able to get a good position for a shot.
And there's an example right there, Cullen. What a strong defensive move. The way he angled, took the body, and came away with that puck. So that's exactly what I'm talking about, Ben.
Absolutely, and we talk about this being the last real home game for a lot of these Trappers players. We had a pregame ceremony, and a lot of the names that were called that we're graduating on are some very important names, so it'll be a very interesting year next year. As here's an opportunity for Cosmic, and he's just offside as he was all alone looking for his second of the period and second of the game.
Yeah, and you know, obviously I have a strong bias towards defensive play, but again, I just can't tell you under Coach Josh Dale how he has kind of ignited the defense, and he's allowed them to get up into the rush, and I think that's been another important part of the Trappers game this year.
Well, it's hard to have a better year than the Trappers are having this season, having only not gained victory 4 times in almost in 30 games. And of course, unless something crazy happens in this game, this being their 30th of the year, they'll have climbed to 53 points in 30 games out of a possible 60. Trappers, Bahari loses it in the neutral zone. Cubs now trying an opportunity. There's a shot, big save from Coates. That one off the stick of Arpin Gerard.
And that was not a strong play by Aiden, getting that puck out. That turnover at that blue line is something coaches dread.
Now Cosmic, he's got a man with him. Cosmic, he shoots, big save from Leach as it goes up into his mask, and Leach a little slow to get up here as he might have taken that one. And of course we talked about this with Cooper Peaver, their backup goaltender, not bringing his pads, so
and
not a good sign.
I forgot my jock, so
yeah, you
I
did.
can't lend him that. Yeah.
Not just today, but also when you used to play in net.
You know what? I should have had my old pads from 1978, the horsehair ones, and said, Cooper, this is your punishment. You're going in, you're going to wear these. See how he adjusts to that. But this is an interesting situation. You know, I do think today, though, the pads are a little more versatile than the pads we wore back in my day, where, you know, the thought of me wearing somebody else's pads back in the day would have been, you know, like, oh, I couldn't do that. But today I think the pads are a little bit more universal, and probably the adjustment time may not be quite as big.
Well, I don't know if anybody made a bigger sigh of relief there than Cooper Peaver, who would have been an awkward thing. Of course, it's Occam's razor. The worst, if something can happen, it'll happen. And
yeah, I'm sure this is not probably going to go down as, you know, one of Cooper's best days in the eyes of his coaches.
But either way, Leach is good to go, which is a good sign for New Liskeard, as he has been a huge reason why it is not more than 4-0, as about a mile offside were the Cubs, as Roy was almost at the hash marks before the puck went over the blue line.
And again, you know, the Trappers D is just playing, they're just playing, keeping guys outside the dot and using good angling and, yeah, some good defensive structure there by the Trappers here today.
They played really good defensively. It's a huge hill to climb up. If you think New Liskeard could even think of tying this, was they're up down by 4 goals with 23 minutes left in the game, 3 minutes left in this period, and 1 more period to go.
And I can tell you, Logie Coates doesn't give goals up easily this year, so it's hard to get one past Logie when he's in the zone, and even when he's not in the zone this year.
As the puck is dumped into the Cubs zone, icing is waved off, and the Cubs have possession. A cross-ice pass is just out of the reach of the outstretched stick of Ethan Ethier. And now that one, dumping attempt that missed from Buckman, ended up hitting a stick, so no icing against the Trappers. As really now it's just a game of trying to run the clock down and not have any serious injuries or anything happen. As Deck has it at the blue line. And of course, if you're number 16 for the Trappers, Ben Brunton, you're looking for number 50 with 2 games and a period left to play.
And I can tell you, Benny Brunton isn't that type of guy. He's always going to be a pass-first kind of guy. He's not a selfish guy that way. If I know Benny, you know, he's looking out for the team, and I can say that with 100% conviction.
Well, speaking of the Devil, he's got it there. Here's Deck. Deck at the blue line. He takes a shot. He scores! Michael Deck, it looked like it went in cleanly, as looked like Leach was definitely screened in front of his own net, and a big goal from the blue line makes it 5-0 North Bay.
And Mikey Deck this year, his shot selection from the point, you know, I've already mentioned it, I think, earlier in the broadcast. What a fabulous shot. You know, that was in an area, you know, for a screen and a tip. And teaching young defensemen how to get those pucks on net, not that easy. Mike's done a really good job of it this year.
And it's a good good example of you don't always have to use a slap shot either. A nice little wrister from the point sometimes is all you need. As it goes past the glove of Leach. That's his second of the year for Deck. As you mentioned, potentially could have missed the rest of the season with a jaw injury, but he is thankfully back, and he's had a nice little impact on this game, both offensively and defensively.
Great kid, great parents, and I think it's important to note that I think has been another big strength of this Trappers team this year is an incredible parent group.
Trappers looking for more with 1:10 to go. Cross ice pass ends up going off a ankle as the play is whistled down, and a very long skate to the bench there for Ryan Miller, the captain and points leader for this Cubs team, as he took a shot right off the ankle.
You know, we talk about chemistry on the ice with the players, but at the AAA, U18, U16, you know, when you've got chemistry between the parents and camaraderie and working together, I really see that this year as being something that has added energy to the Trappers team. And it's an interesting point, you know. These kids are on the road. They still are dependent on their parents. And when you have a good parent group and a good parent support group that's working together collaboratively, I really feel that energy is felt by the kids. And I really do believe it's an important part of the team this year.
So it was Hay who actually went to the box for hooking on that last stoppage of play. 45 seconds left to go, and now a shorthanded opportunity here for New Liskeard. There's a shot! And who else but Maverick Hill with a shot, but it goes wide. A good chance to break the goose egg on the scoreboard for New Liskeard. Here's Moore over to Cosmic. He's got Burnett in front. Cosmic, he'll just hang on to it with about 25 seconds left on the clock. Head. Now puck cycled around. Cosmic at the point. His shot blocked. And just dumped out of the zone from Thomas Renew. Less than 10 seconds to go. 5-0 North Bay. They added 3 goals here in this second period as they've really put a pin in this game. So we will have one more period to go. It was goals. Ben Brunton with his 49th of the season at the minute 27 mark to start the period. Then Noah Cosmic getting his 14th at the 11:51 mark. And Michael Deck, a wrister from the point, his second of the year at the 18-minute mark. So just like the end of the first period, the Trappers will come out to the third on a power play with 51 seconds still to go on that power play opportunity. 5-0 North Bay. And Rob, I know we've been talking about it throughout this period, but what have you seen so far from the Trappers, and what do they need to do going into the final 20?
Well, what they need to do is everything they've been doing for the last 2 periods. There's no reason to have to chase this game. Take what's given to you. Continue to play with composure. Continue to play with the defensive structure that leads to the offense that we've had. And good things are going to happen. So obviously, you know, we're never going to say this game is in hand, because as you and I both know, having covered hockey, especially at the U18 AAA level, anything can happen. But I think Coach Josh Dale, this is best case scenario for him. This is what he'd hoped for, teaching the boys how to push through tired legs. And I think we've seen some really good stuff from them today. So he's going to be hoping for the same in the third.
So 40 minutes in the books. The Trappers with a 5-0 lead over the New Liskeard Cubs. We will be back in about 10 minutes or so, as you are, of course, watching the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's on Flow Hockey and listening on the Frontline YouTube channel.
Canadian Tire North Bay. Whether you're in need of a hockey gear upgrade or some cooking kitchenware to help get you fueled up for the big game. Maybe it's a set of new snow tires or a tune-up to help you get there safely. Stop by the newly renovated Canadian Tire North Bay. Open 7 days a week and located conveniently at 890 McEwen Avenue. They have everything you need for this season. The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalieresiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
Well, we welcome you back for the third and you would think final period of action here in the Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens, newly christened in the last month or so. And it's the North Bay Trappers, the U18 Trappers, playing the new Liskeard Cubs. You always have to remember the U18 part because there are two North Bay Trapper teams in this Great North U18 League, but only one of them has 51 points in 29 games, and that is the team that is on the ice here this afternoon. And they are going to look to put away the Cubs. They're already up 5-0. They'll start this period on the power play with 51 seconds still left to go. Rob, this is going to be an interesting 20 minutes because you got to think, on one hand, if you're the Trappers, you got to keep playing the same way, but they have played a lot of games so far. We've talked about that and what Coach Josh Dale's trying to do and get them ready for this postseason/tournament style that they'll be going into in the next coming weeks. So what do you think is going to be the key for this team? They're up 5 goals, and they've got to try to, keep it going here in the next 20 minutes.
One word, Ben. Can you spell discipline? And when I talk about discipline, we're talking about the mental discipline to not take cheap penalties and to not have breakdowns that way, but we're talking about discipline in the 3 zones of the ice. Maintaining your defensive discipline, your neutral zone discipline, and your offensive responsibility. So I think the word of the day is exactly what Coach Josh wanted, and that's to get them to have to work through tired legs and tired minds, but remain disciplined. In terms of new Liskeard, I respect the heck out of these kids and these coaches working with skeleton crews and fighting through adversity. And the scoreboard, hey boys, go out there, battle and grind. Never quit on your teammates, never quit on yourself, never quit on a puck. Those are the life lessons that we really hope these young athletes, when they do graduate and when they do go on from AAA hockey, that's really what we hope they take away.
Trappers have 2 games left. Of course, we talk about new Liskeard. You got to mention Matt Leach in net. He has been fantastic. But new Liskeard will be down a man as Hay continues to serve the penalty he got at the tail end of the first period. We are back underway. 20 minutes left in this contest as the Trappers look to close out their season on a winning, their home schedule here at the Gardens in a winning way. They, of course, will play next weekend in Verner as technically the home team against the U16 Trappers, and then finished it off their season on the 28th against these guys. And on penalties going to be coming up to the Trappers here. Here's Hill. Hill tries to dance around deck. He was not able to quite hold on to it, but they retain possession. A delayed call coming up to the Trappers. This is the second time that the Trappers have committed a penalty while they were on the power play. Cameron Lockhart did it earlier back in the first period. Here's Hill. Still a delayed penalty call. Still hasn't been touched up. Now finally the whistle goes down. It will be I believe that's a tripping call.
That looks like Aiden Bahari. And again, in the neutral zone, not moving the feet. Those are the types of penalties that you want to avoid, and that's the lack of discipline that Coach Josh Dale's talking about. If you're in a 1-1 game or a 0-0 game in a playoff, that type of a penalty right there is the type of thing that can be quite costly. So an opportunity, though, for the Trappers to work on their penalty kill here, and an opportunity for New Liskeard to potentially get on the board.
Well, trying to get rid of that goose egg on the board. Here's a pass out into the neutral zone. So it was tripping call. It was a little bit of an interesting signal there from the referee. I don't know if it was maybe a very niche penalty call, but maybe it was some sort of like
just trying to trip up
clipping or something. But either way, there's a shot from Miller, and that goes off a body. I believe it was Cullen's body out of play. A great opportunity, almost in the same place that Cosmic got his goal earlier in the second frame.
Good job by Logan Coates. Logan Coates, as you know, is a big-bodied goaltender there. Had good depth management and good active blocker there to take that away. That was a good save.
So the faceoff won by the Cubs, but it's left and put into the Cubs zone with 1:15 left to go in this power play. The Cubs have had some opportunities, but still haven't put the puck on net as much as they would have liked to. It's been a relatively easy game for Coates, but as soon as I say that, I guarantee you they'll get a good opportunity. Like right here, there's a chance. It's now another shot. They score. And I am so sorry there, Rob, as I'm getting the death stare all over the place. As that was Ryan Miller, the leading point scorer, puts one in the top shelf over Logan Coates. That is a power play goal. Makes it 5-1.
You have birthday boy Mike, our cameraman, laughing on that one too. Well, hey, you didn't say the word. You didn't say the shutout word, so I can't condemn you for that. But, again, good job by New Liskeard there on the power play to get a goal. It was a great shot, and one that Logan didn't have a real good chance on. But nice to see New Liskeard get on the board.
Thankfully, I don't think the North Bay fans in the crowd here heard me. So I think we're good. And if the New Liskeard fans are watching, the parents are watching, they'll probably thank me. As it was a really nice shot on the other side, though, by Miller as he went top shelf. Not much Coates could have done. And that's an interesting thing. 7 goals in this I think it's still 5-1. I'm not too sure why there's a
it is 5-1.
A 6.
They just made the change.
That took me back, but here's a chance. There's Brunton in there right like that. Brunton, his 50th of the goal, and they're going to have to put that 6 back on the board as the Trappers immediately come back with their 5-goal lead, and Ben Brunton, his 50th of the season in 30 games.
Congratulations, Benny Brunton. Couldn't happen to a nicer kid. You talk about resiliency, you talk about adversity. A kid who was decimated last year by not getting drafted. But, his response this year, I don't even know if Benny could have imagined that. But congratulations to Benny. Congratulations to his teammates and the Trappers, because you don't score 50 goals on your own, of course, and Benny's that type of guy. He understands that. But what a great moment for Benny and his teammates. Congratulations, Benny.
So not just to put this into context for the viewers at home, they've played. This is their 30th game that they've played. Not just does he have 50 goals, but he has 34 or 35 assists, as he also had a point in this game. He's got 2 goals and a point in this game. So he has 85 points this season in 30 games, which is over almost 3 points a game, which is absolutely insane.
It is, and I stand to be corrected on this, but I believe it's 91 points is the most that a Trapper has scored in a year, I believe. And is there a possibility that Benny could get that? Yeah, there is, but again, I know that that's not on Benny's mind. Benny is a pass-first, team-centric player, and that's all that he's looking to do, and I know that for a fact.
Well, there's still 2 games to go. He does have the U18 Trappers and these Cubs again. There's a shot that came in there from Starcevic, and it is just gloved down by Leach. And again, you talk about that. First of all, it's a great response after the goal from Miller. Immediately, within a minute, they come back. But what's so crazy about that stat is that usually when you see these high point stats, they tend to be more assist-driven But when you look at it, most of those come from goals, and then he proves that he's not just a goal scorer. Now there's an opportunity right at the doorstep. Was more, and he just can't buy a goal here this afternoon. Now a shot from Paquette is blocked. Buckman dumps it into the corner. Puck comes out in front. It's Hill there who steals it, and Miller just can't get it on his stick, and the puck's still loose, and a good little pick there from Moore, but he wasn't able to get control, and now the puck goes all the way down into the Trappers' zone. Picked up by Bahare. Bahare, now his pass is picked, and his shot stopped. Big blocker save from Coates. And a bad turn away from Bahare almost turns into a goal off the stick of Ethan Ethier. Cubs with it in their own zone. Behind the net now. Hill. Hill gets it up for Ethier. Or check that. That is Ethan Roy, and now it's going to be an offside against the Cubs as they couldn't get it into the North Bay zone. 15:34 left in this game. It's now a 6-1 lead for North Bay.
If you're an OHL scout out there and you're watching or listening to this broadcast, feel free to ring me up because I can give you some deep insights into the character of Benny Brunton as well. He's a character kid. Not only is he a great hockey player and has he put up some incredible points, but he's the type of kid that'll never hurt you on a bench, never hurt you on the ice, never hurt you on a bus, and never hurt you in an actual hotel room. He's a class act. He's got very supportive parents, and again, you're getting the whole deal when you get Benny Brunton.
Not sure how much more he needs to do to prove his worth in his draft year. Of course, with the 18, the overage draft coming up for the OHL. And if not, he's you got to assume that has to have played himself onto a Powassan roster as well next year.
A little birdie told me that the welcome mat would be laid out for Benny.
Well, I can't imagine any coach not wanting a player of that caliber. Of course, we mentioned this a little bit as here's a chance for Deck looking for a second of the game. The puck's loose down front, and Leach will hold on. Chance for them to make it 7 goals. And it's hard to think that, we talked about this a little bit in the Kapuskasing game a couple of Saturdays ago. The fact that, it seems like a no-brainer that you'd have a guy like Brunton playing in Powassan, but what do you do with where do you add the slot? Where do you fill it in? There's other guys who have committed to being there. You can't just take a slot away. Especially considering in that league, here in the AAA league, you're a little bit more local. Usually you're going to play in your local area, but, Powassan has people from the U.S., from out west, all these different areas that have traveled far from home to play.
Well, I know Benny Brunton and his family, they'll have decisions to make, and, but the fact of the matter is right now it's the here and now, and that's all you really need to focus on and should be focused on. There's games to be won yet, and there's still a league title that I know these players and the coaching staff have their mindset on. So you never want to get too far ahead of yourself, and I know that Ben will be that type of guy.
Yeah, a huge tournament coming up in the coming weeks. Trappers have done everything right in the regular season, but they're going to need to prove it in the postseason tournament if it makes any of the 32 games they played this year mean anything. Puck behind the new Liskeard bench, or new Liskeard goal, sorry. And they're just trying to get it out, and new Liskeard has really struggled to get a lot of momentum going. Now there's just pushing and shoving happening between Cullen and Wabi Delorme. The puck wasn't even in play there as they were just going at each other. Wabi Delorme's stick still on the ice. Cullen's still sending out shots, so we'll have to see if that chippiness remains. As there was almost an opportunity for Thomas Renew. Brunton now, we're looking on, he's on a hat trick. Brunton's shot is floated in and off the blocker of Leach. And new Liskeard, this has been the line that's done most of it for them. As Renew looking for Hill, but the pass couldn't connect. It was stolen there from Broussard. Renew looking around for Miller. Miller looking down into the far end for Renew, but it's picked off by Bahare, who now brings it all the way into the new Liskeard zone. Lascelles, he got the opening goal for the Trappers back in the first period. Bahare slow to come up, and he looks like he may have got the wind knocked out of him a little bit. And now the whistle's going to go. There's a delayed call on the ice. And now, after this, Lascelles, it looks like that's Siegel, is now in a tangle with Miller. And going off into the penalty box, it looks like it's going to be Thomas Renew. And also going into the penalty box after that scrum is Aiden Bahare.
And again, 12 minutes left in the third, that discipline, that composure, tired mind, tired legs. How do you respond to a hit? Do you put team first? Do you put yourself first? These are all the questions that, Coach Josh is hoping that these guys can figure out. And we've already talked about it ad nauseum. Understandable for New Liskeard down 6-1, some of the frustration. But again, you know what? For the most part, both teams, I think, have done a good job of remaining composed and have played with a level of discipline.
12:09 to go, and they're trying to figure out if this is going to be 5-on-5 or 4-on-4. It looks like it'll be 4-on-4.
We should give our obligatory call out to our officials because, as I always say, this is a development league for players, but it's also an important development league for our officials, and they do a good job here. So
it looks like it's going to be another penalty here, so it looks like maybe a potential double minor. We'll wait for the official call, but it's 5-on-4, a power play opportunity here for the Trappers. Now there's a shot from the point. There's a chance, Lockhart, and he wasn't able to pull the trigger. Lockhart has it on the near side, hash marks. Brunton looking down now for Lockhart. Lockhart from a close angle. Now a puck out, loose out in front. Lockhart still with it, still looking to bang it in, but it's Leach with the save. And now after the whistle, Brassard gets a little shove there and more chippiness as Brassard and Miller are.
And this is exactly what the Trappers have to learn to avoid. Cam's got to walk away from that. And these are the lessons that Coach Josh Dale is hoping to teach these guys, right? So when they face a little adversity, when they get a little bit of pushback, they've got to learn to walk away from these types of plays. If they're going to compete in the playoffs, important lessons to be learned here.
So we were talking about that goal record. Chris Dawson letting us know 122 was the total, was the point.
That's not by a Trapper player, though, I don't think.
I think you're right. It was 91 for the Trappers by Joel Senecal in 2007.
Correct. Yes.
Was the last one, but the overall league is 122, which is...
I don't think Benny's going to get that one.
I don't know.
Still an impressive record for sure. Well, 122, that's one heck of a year.
Yeah, now there's an opportunity. Starcevec couldn't direct it into the goal, and it goes into the corner. Still a minute left on this power play opportunity. Now in front, chest off Cosmic, but a shot. And it goes wide. Sagan Hutchinson looking for the back of the net. Now puck out in front. Sagan Hutchinson from the top of the circle. His shot goes high and wide. Starcevec has it, and Miller now is able to redirect that pass off his skates. But still with possession are the Trappers, and the puck leaks out for Leach, who will hold on.
You know something, Ben, I've never understood, and maybe, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but even, Sagan Hutchison there, when players get the puck on the point, they start to take time and space away by skating into the pack, and right there, Sagan Hutchison could have pulled back a bit. Why do you skate into players and take your time and space away? When hockey is so much about gaining time and space, I've never understood that, from the point where players will start and skate into the pack and not maintain their time and space. So that's just my own kind of little bugaboo, if you will.
Well, if you thought things were going to go from bad to worse for the Cubs, they've gotten another penalty. Maverick Hill now in the penalty box, number 6 for the Cubs. So it's a 5-on-3 opportunity for 30 seconds.
I don't think they need that right now.
No, they're up 6-1. As now here's a shot from the point. They're tipped, and what a save! Oh, man, I do not know how they didn't get a goal there, as there was a wide open cage, and it gets redirected right into the body of Leach Talk about being in the right place at the right time, and unbelievable.
That is a battle and grind save by Leach, and no quitting in him. Nice to see, right? Battle and grind right to the final whistle. Good job, Leach.
What a chance. He's made a couple of really nice ones, and again, sometimes you just have to put your body in the right place and hope the puck finds it, which is what happened. And here's Deck now at the top of the circle.
Did you ever watch Dominic Hash play?
Oh, yeah. One of the best helmets in the game. So now back to 5-on-4 as the penalty expires, except coming out of the box with Savu, and he goes right to the bench, and now finally they get 4 players on, and they're able to set up their box formation. Buckman down into the corner. The Trappers looking for the right time to strike. Buckman over to Deck. Deck sends it to Moore. Moore now looking, puts it out in front. He got the cross-ice pass he wanted to Paquette, but it was in his skates, and he wasn't able to pull the trigger. Now Paquette's still with it. Moore still looking to get it in. A good job defensively for the Cubs. And now finally they get it, but not quite out, and now it's going to go out. As picking up the rebound there was Arpin Gerard. And now here's Moore. It's a 1-on-2 as Moore has no help, and finally he waits for another red shirt, and that's Siegel. Siegel wraps it around the net. He's looking for another red shirt. He's got Brunton and Proctor at the line, and he decides to go across the ice looking for Cullen. And now the puck will be dumped all the way out behind the net. It'll be Logan Coates, the goalie, who comes out to play it. 14 seconds left on the power play to Hill. Renew and Bahari still in the box as they went down for, looks like it was slashing and kneeing was the call on that one. So they'll have to wait for the next whistle to be able to come out of the box. And then, of course, Renault getting a double minor for kneeing, which is why we saw that power play opportunity. Maverick Hill getting an unsportsmanlike conduct, which was why we got the 5-on-3. So we're just getting caught up on the official calls for the penalties. With 8:17 left to go, 6-1 Trappers. Brunton 3 points, including his 49th and 50th goals of the year on his 30th game played. The big story out of this one. Now there's a delayed penalty call. They're going to call a trip here on Brunton, and he's not too sure why he got called for that one, but
yeah, I kind of didn't see that one. I think that's a call that maybe the official may like to have back, but I like Benny's response to it, just kind of taking it. I think it was kind of an ill-advised call from my perspective, but that's kind of the response that the coach is going to expect going forward. So
yeah, he went to play the puck. He did trip the man, but he was playing the puck, so you understand the thought process there. But New Liskeard is given an opportunity here now with a fresh man advantage to try to get at least one goal back.
But come on, Ben. He got his 50th goal. Does he not get any type of a break tonight?
No, he's already been able to celebrate. There's Miller. Miller, the lone goal scorer for the Cubs here. I definitely did not have a hand in that in any way. Accidentally saying how easy of a night Coates has had. Now there's another opportunity. And I shouldn't have said anything again because who else but Ryan Miller makes it 6-2, and I've just got to stop talking when the Cubs have the puck because that's a 2 for 2 now, a power play goal, and it's 6-2 North Bay.
Isn't it interesting, how your best players always have to be your best players, and it's funny, like Miller, who's really their top scorer today, that's 2 goals for him, and it's just amazing how these kids just seem to have it. But good shot, and he got it away quickly because I think if he doesn't get it away quickly, Logan has that. But 7:34 left, 6-2, and yeah.
Lots can happen. I mean, the Trappers did put 7 past the Flyers a couple of weeks ago in that third period as the puck comes from the neutral zone banks off the boards and finds its way all the way into the glove of Leach, who will hang on for the penalty. Going back to that goal from Miller, despite my comments, it was a nice goal as it went over the blocker side for those listening. It was an in-tight shot from around the near side circle.
And I'll have to take a look back on the replay when I get a chance to see if that's something that maybe Logan could have been on his feet for. I'd have to see exactly. We always want goalies to be on feet first.
Well, just make sure the audio is turned off.
Exactly.
As the Cubs looking back for more. Miller now on a hat trick, sends it in front. There's a chance. Big save from Coates.
And that's the response that Logan looked for. Great save, square to the puck.
Thomas Renew looking to make it 6-3. And, yeah, there's about 7 minutes left, but lots can happen. And it's momentum can turn on a dime. A shot from the Trappers is deflected and goes wide. Cosmic now gets taken down. Burnett with it in the corner. He's battling there with Jake Hay. Puck comes loose, and now another delayed call coming against the Trappers. And more pushing and shoving after between Renew and... We'll just have to wait for North Bay player to turn around so we can see who it was. It looks like that was Buckman. But going off to the box will be Noah Cosmic, but on the other side will be Cameron Olsen for the Cubs. So it looks like it'll be offsetting minors potentially, as there are 5 men on the ice for both teams.
No coincidence, penalties are coming now. Tired minds, tired legs, chippiness. This has been a pattern, unfortunately, for our Trappers, and learning how to get control of that, gain control of that, right, going to be really, really important here. But, again, I don't think it's any coincidence that we tend to see these types of penalties taken in the later minutes, especially after the volume of hockey that the Trappers have played.
Well, here's more. His shot saved by the glove, but a rebound is left on the doorstep. New Liskeard was kind of their own worst enemy right now in their breakaways, as their passes, again, not being super crisp and end up being behind them, breaking up their momentum. More pushing and shoving behind the play as well between these two teams. Proctor carries it from his own zone all the way behind the net of New Liskeard. Now he finally gets bumped off the puck. And now left a bad giveaway. Here's a chance. There's a shot, and they score! That's Colbert, who makes it 7-2. And any momentum New Liskeard thought they'd get back after the 2 goals from Miller both times have been counteracted by the Trappers finding the back of the net.
You can't give up plays like that at the blue line because, especially with an offensively talented team like the Trappers. And there we go. What's that? 7 goals, and Colbert gets on the board. Again, just amazing how many of these Trappers this year have the ability to finish. Nice goal, nice finish.
So a good goal from Colbert. Another bad giveaway from the Cubs in their own zone. That has really been one of their Achilles heels. So Michael Colbert getting the goal there with 5 minutes left in this hockey game. 7-2. The Trappers have the lead, but back come the Cubs. They're looking to put another one by Coates potentially. Ryan Miller, the leading point scorer for the Cubs, has been the only one to find the back of the net. Here's Brassard. Brassard looks for Brunton. He's looking for his 51st of the year, which is still a ridiculous number when you say it out loud, considering this is game number 30. And he's also on a hat trick. Him and Miller both on hat tricks for their respective teams. New Liskeard gaining the zone, but all alone is Hay. He has no help, and about 3 or 4 other red shirts around him now, finally getting some help, but not before Brunton picks it up, and he'll start the charge from North Bay. Leaves it off for Lockhart. His shot goes high and wide. Goes past Brassard to Cullen at the blue line, and his pass to Sagan Hutchinson was wide. Brunton brings it back in the zone as they come back on side. His shot goes high and wide and will just stay in from Cullen, and now he loses it. Hill was looking there for the Cubs to break out, and now the puck's lost in the neutral zone. Here's Miller. He's got Hill with him. Miller looking to find Hill, but it's broken up by Brassard, who has it behind his own net. Brassard flips it up potentially dangerously up the slot area of his own zone. He ends up getting it to the neutral zone, and then it comes all the way back to the Trappers zone. North Bay with possession. There's Cullen dumping it in. He'll go off for a change. He'll go down for Leach, who will just hang on for a whistle with 3:40 left to go.
Yeah, nice goal by Michael Colbert. Probably got an assist from his dad there on the bench, actually. Cam, who is the trainer, has done a great job with the Trappers this year. And should give a shout out to also, we have Darren Siegel has done a great job as a coach, and another one of the assistants is Derek McLeod. So hats off to the entire coaching staff for the Trappers this year. I know they're all going to be celebrating together Benny's 50th goal, because it is really a collective celebration, and again, a real milestone certainly for Benny and the team.
Yeah, that was Colbert's third of the year, by the way, as Proctor getting his 10th assist on that as well, which ends up being the fourth goal of this period, 2 from each side. 3 minutes now left to go. Bahari keeps it in. Bahari dumps it in, and Leach again is forced to cover. Not a lot of faith there in his defenseman, as he's been covering a lot of the pucks that have been coming his way.
And it's not a bad play, and it's good awareness by Leach. When your defense are tired and you're kind of playing short-manned and short-benched as they are, that is a really good play by Leach to be aware of that.
Face-off won by the Trappers. Sagan Hutchinson not able to keep it in. The Cubs kind of messily get it out of their zone. Webster was not able to dump it in. Brownlee also trying to get it in, and now finally it's dumped in by New Liskeard, with Webster chasing. Him and Sagan Hutchinson now in a bit of a scrum in the near side corner. Puck still in the near side wall. Now it breaks out of the zone, but it's picked up by Roy for the Cubs in his own zone, and New Liskeard will break back into the Trappers' territory. Puck behind the net, Proctor there, doing his best to keep it down. Now here's a chance, a low shot, and another save from Coates, and a good opportunity there for New Liskeard, trying for their third of the game.
Yeah, good job by Logan Coates there. That was a down-low play. He had an active stick and had to stay on it, and didn't get too scrambly and stayed in position. So I know Logan would not want to give up a third goal, and that was a good battle and grind save.
Face-off won by the Cubs, but then stolen right off the face-off by North Bay. Cosmic was down on his knees as he slipped, and he was not able to start a breakout. Bahari loses possession. Now it's behind for Buckman. 2 minutes now to go. Buckman not able to get it out. Puck still near that blue line. About 3 white jerseys keeping the puck in against 2 red jerseys. And now it finally comes loose, but it's New Liskeard who has possession. There's a good chance from Wab DeLorme. His shot goes off the stick of Bahari, and it's going to be Owen Head leading the charge for the Trappers. Head over to Cosmic, and all he can do is put it out in front, but nobody there. No red jersey there in the slot area. But now here's a shot from the blue line and an easy save off the stick of Liam Major, and Coates will hold on with 1:33 to go.
You've mentioned Owen Head a few times, and Owen Head is one of those guys. I know he's very much appreciated by his teammates and his coaching staff. He's a great leader. He's a hard worker. I don't think Owen Head's ever taken a shift off all year.
So play back underway with 90 seconds left in this 7-2 game here between the Trappers and Cubs. Trappers will be looking to close off their season over the next couple of weeks. They play next Sunday in Werner against the U16 Trapper team, and then finish things off on the 28th against this New Liskeard Cubs team again in New Liskeard. Now here's a chance right near the end, the shot! And Lockhart still looking for his first of the game, as he's had a number of shots on Leach, and this time he is denied once again.
And if you wonder how strong Lockhart is, he had 2 guys draped all over him, and I don't even think it slowed him down. So Cam definitely showing some of that power forward in that particular play.
He has gone into a little bit of penalty trouble. He got a couple of cross-checking penalties early on, but he stayed out of the penalty box since.
Maybe the threat of skating this week by Coach Josh Dale.
Potentially. As the face-off's won by Brunton, Brassard was looking to send the puck back to the blue line, but it's picked off by Miller, who's on 2 goals for the Cubs. Brassard has it in his own zone. He is being pressed by Miller. Cullen gets it up, and then it's going to be dumped into the zone by Lockhart, sent all the way around. Leach will play behind his own net. but it's picked up by Broussard. Proctor looking over for Cullen. Luckily, it stays in the zone, and Cullen will send it into the corner. New Liskeard still trying to quell the press here from the Trappers. And now that pass doesn't find its mark. It's going to go all the way back to North Bay's zone with 23.1 on the clock. And you can almost lock in the 7-2 score now, potentially, as we go into the final 2 games of the season for the Trappers. What do you think they're going to be trying to do? And I know it's going to be a lot of getting ready for the playoffs, but anything specific they're going to be focused on?
Well, I know in the next 2 weeks with some downtime, I know they're really going to be focused on their conditioning. They're going to continue to hone in on their defensive structure and their neutral zone play. I know from my perspective as goalie coach, we're going to try to make sure that our goalies stay ready and focused and they get some good reps. But I think collectively, this game is essentially all that Coach Dale could have really wished for, having played 4 games in a small amount of time. Few teachable moments here today, though, Ben, and I'll get to those in a moment as you summarize here.
Yeah, it was a very decisive and relatively easy win here for the North Bay Trappers, as they were kind of expecting coming into the Gardens here this afternoon, as they come away with a very decisive 7-2 victory in their final, we'll call it home game, not on the schedule, but in reality, their final game in North Bay this season, as they salute the crowd. Of course, a very beautiful pregame ceremony for the players who will not be coming back to play for the red team here next season. But either way, it was a couple of big storylines in this game. We saw Matt Leach in net for the Cubs, standing on his head a number of times. It easily could have been a double-digit game if not. We saw, of course, Ben Brunton picking up 3 points, his 49th and 50th goal of the season. And a couple of big goals from some guys who don't usually get into it. Michael Deck, Culbert getting a goal, Losell getting a goal. A couple of guys who usually don't find the back of the net getting into the action. And I think overall, as you've mentioned, Coach Josh Dale is going to be very happy with his performance.
Yeah, Jackson Cullen, as he's done all years, had a really strong leadership role on the team, had a strong game on defense. Mikey Deck, again, some solid play on the back end. Logie Coates didn't have a whole lot of shots, but had to make a couple of good saves. So I think, the plan that Coach Josh Dale put into place to try to get these guys to learn how to fight through tired legs and tired minds, I think he's going to be happy with that. Having said that, Ben, there are a few teachable moments near the end of the game that I think Coach Josh Dale is going to want to address in terms of composure and maybe some ill-advised penalties. So definitely still some teachable moments there that need to kind of be addressed.
Absolutely. Well, this is the final Trapper broadcast for us here at the Frontline Game Day broadcast, but we are not over in our overall coverage, as the Powassan Voodoos have a very busy weekend next weekend. So, of course, you can join us Friday evening, 7 o'clock, as they play the Hearst Lumberjacks that are going to be playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That weekend, they have Sioux Thunderbirds, a little back-to-back action there Saturday, Sunday. So it'll be a big weekend for the Voodoos, but we do want to thank you for coming in, for joining us, whether it's on the Frontline YouTube channel or on Flow Hockey, for joining us for another great year of U18AAA hockey. Of course, the Trappers have had a fantastic year. Thank you, Rob, for coming in and being the color commentator, I'm pretty sure, in almost all of our broadcasts. So thank you. It's been a fun time.
Thank you. You've done a great job. Thank you so much, Frontline team, for having me on board. And I just want to give one final shout out to my dear friend Chris Dawson, who's probably still eating leftover birthday cake right now.
Yes, happy birthday to Chris Dawson. It was his birthday, of course. I believe it was yesterday was his official birthday. Happy birthday to my cameraman Mike, who it's always his birthday here on the Frontline broadcast. And thank you to the viewer and listener for joining us, whether this is your first game or you've been here all season long. We appreciate your viewership as well. So it was the North Bay Trappers coming away with a 7-2 victory over the New Liskeard Cubs. 2 games left for them on the road, but that's going to be doing it for us. So thank you so much. So for Dr. Rob Graham, Courtney Kenny was getting us, who is here at the Gardens today, getting us some social medias. I'm Ben Sargent. Thank you so much for joining us. And, of course, cameraman Mike Brown for getting all the beautiful shots on Flow Hockey that, of course, these teams will be watching that footage over the coming days and weeks to come. So that does it for us here from Memorial Gardens. Thank you again for joining us. This has been the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.